What's going on, guys? I was out here today doing a little cleaning up. We've got a front coming in. We've got a front here now. Temperature dropped a lot, wind's blowing pretty hard, and thinking about maybe fishing a little bit later on this afternoon, but I was out here organizing my boat a little bit, organizing my tackle station over there in the corner of the garage, and was thinking about doing this video the other day, and I figured it'd be a good time to do it. But I just wanted to dive in and talk to y'all about just one specific tactic that really helps me catch more trout and more redfish this time of year. I call that tactic either slow rolling a bait or crawling a bait. And so really all that is working a bait really slowly on the bottom. And typically that's a paddle tail, which is a soft plastic bait rigged on a jig head. Sometimes I'll fish pre-rigged paddle tails, but I'm using typically, like I said, a paddle tail when I'm slow rolling or crawling the bottom. Slow rolling and crawling a bait is such a natural way to present a bait to a fish this time of year. You don't really see much action from bait fish on the surface. The mullet and the mud minnows, they're still around, but you're not seeing those mullet up on the surface nearly as much. And so what's happening with those fish is they're actually swimming along the bottom, and the dark back is really all you're seeing. So I like to fish a dark colored paddle tail. Not that other ones don't work, but if I'm just, starting out, I'm out, first cast of the day, first bait I'm going to tie on is typically like a natural looking paddle tail color. And just working that thing slow on the bottom. It looks just like a mullet or mud minnow just cruising the bottom. So what I wanted to talk to y'all about slow rolling is, one, you can never work it too slow pretty much this time of year. I mean, sometimes they want a little bit faster, but the true slow roll is just a very slow crawl. And so I've got two baits here. One is a saltwater assassin bait rigged on an iStrike jig head, and this is a paddle tail. As well as this Z-Man diesel minnow that's rigged on a paddle tail. It's a little jacked up. I just cut it off my rod here, but for the purpose of today's video, it'll serve it just fine. But so the reason I typically, if I'm slow rolling or crawling a paddle tail, I'll almost always go with a Z-Man. I love all these other soft plastic baits, but the problem is that these do not float, and so the Z-Mans float. So you can fish a bait so slow to where the bait's just dragging on the bottom, but that tail behind the hook is still going to float up, so you're still going to get that kicking action. So when I'm middle of the winter, really cold and deep water, when it's really hard to get those trout bites, and I'm just slowly cranking on it, where a one cast might take me 2-3 minutes to get it in, I'm fishing a Z-Man for the simple fact of that tail is going to rise up and still be paddling real slow, as where a standard soft plastic that doesn't float is just going to end up laying on its side and really not getting any action. It's just going to be dragging across the bottom. And not that they won't eat it like that, but this bait, and I'm going to try to do some underwater footage of slow rolling a paddle tail on the bottom when it gets warmer. It's extremely cold right now. I don't have access to an indoor pool, so I'm not going to be able to get that till the summertime. But swimming a paddle tail really slow is super effective. This is, I think, redfish toad is the color, but any of these natural looking colored baits with a little bit of flake in there are typically what I'm throwing. And they've worked great for me in dark, dirty water up in the New River or down in the Cape Fear, and they've been working great in really clean water as well. I had a pretty epic evening of trout fishing 2 days ago on nothing but a paddle tail slow rolled, and it was in shallower water, but the fish were they weren't wanting to eat it jig. They really wanted to eat it just kind of straight swimming and swinging through the current. So if you don't have any Z-Man paddle tails, you've got other paddle tails, try getting a couple packs of Z-Mans. And Z-Man's not the only company that makes floating elastic baits, but they're the ones that I use. And so if you don't have any, go pick some up and try that next time you get out there. And compare the two. If you've got some saltwater assassins or some DOAs or anything like that do sink, try those compared and see if the bites, see if you get more bites on the elastic floating soft plastic when you're fishing it real slow. I definitely do, and I just wanted to share that with y'all so that y'all could hopefully catch some more trout and redfish this winter. Well, thanks for checking out the video, you guys. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, click the like button, little thumbs up button, and if you have any comments, feel free to leave them here on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I possibly can. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.